was there like a gap in the market that you wanted to solve? Was there a problem that you felt like that glazing's the option for you?
Do you know, I suppose it relates to what I was just saying there in lots of ways, where it's not that there was a gap in the market. Like, houses need windows, buildings need windows. So that side of things is always going to be there, and it's always going to be, something that is popular. The bit that we saw, exactly what I just said, it just wasn't very streamlined, and it wasn't very easy to get information and answers, because you kind of felt that the technical people get kept in the office. They're not necessarily on the phones. And we just felt that there's actually like a smoother and better way to do this and provide a much better level of service. Coming at it from an architectural or a kind of design background, you kind of think like, well, if I'm phoning a company for answers, what do you want? You just want the information and the answers on hand, or you want to be able to speak to somebody. I lost count of the amount of times you'd be in, if you're in an architecture office and you kind of, you phone around and you think, see if I could just speak to that one person that put that information on the data sheet. He'd be able to tell me what the answer is. But you just get bounced around, because not only are some of the people that you speak to not technical, they just don't know what person to put you through to, because they don't know what you're asking, and I think there's just lots of frustrations that we thought there's a better way to do this.
And the companies that we've worked in before we've landed at Glass Worx and doing what we're doing now, we've always tried to try and fix those issues. I think it's only really now that we're working, that we're here and we're doing our own thing, that we can really put our own twist on it. So like Steff said, there's this thing in the industry, certainly when you're dealing with commercial projects or you're an architect, that almost the business development manager was just a salesman in the construction industry. When you were an architect, basically if you wanted a question answered, you had to speak to the technical department. All the business development manager guy did was hand out brochures, free cakes, and pens. Relationships, manage relationships. And that is.
And there's no problem with that. Like, again, this isn't like a dig at any of that. That can work well. We just think that like needs to evolve a wee bit.
We need to have a scenario where people can access information easier, without even really the need to talk to someone. And then,
but we're here if you need us.
We're here if you need us. But I think there's just a better way. The way that we're trying to do it is be technical and be sales, so that we can answer all the questions. If it's something to do with price, you only need to speak to one person. If it's something to do with technical, you only need to speak to one person.
Yeah, that's it. And
And do you think that's what sets Glass Worx apart from other windows and doors companies?
Christ, no. Well, there's more to it than that.
There's
more than that. I think for me, we're, as I said before, we're trying to be different. So we're creating a lot of digital content that is free, that you don't have to speak to someone about. In my opinion, from a sales point of view, in 16 years I've been working in a sales role, but with a technical background. If the product's that good, it should sell itself. What a lot of clients really hate, and what the glazing industry has a really, really bad reputation of, is simply hounding people when they make an inquiry. And because of that, people don't want to interact with people in the glazing community, or in the glazing industry. There's this kind of standoffish nature. They don't want to discuss price. They don't want to discuss budget. They don't want you to come round to the house. The industry has a stinking reputation. What we're trying to do is bring a consultancy-led approach, which is we approach your project like architects, or architectural technicians as we are, look at the project from that perspective in terms of how do the windows sit within the wall, what are the walls made of, when do you need the windows on site, how's it going to be constructed, and. The same way that we would design a building, we look at everything in sequence and how it all interacts. And I don't think other people do that, because if you are just a glazing company, and again, no disrespect, from a glazing background, you're only looking at one element, or you're only considering one element. We stick our nose into.
I think that's there's like that crossover where we understand the implication of putting a glass to glass corner in, or making doors a certain width, or glazed gables, the type of structure that needs to go in around all of these types of things. If you've got a glazed gable like above a sliding door, so there's certain aspects to projects where we would look at it, and instead of just getting the drawings or the schedule and just putting it out there, we will provide comments, and we are looking to have a discussion. More or less, we're looking to become part of the design team. Like, the ideal scenario for us is that we can get involved in the project as early as possible, so that we can, the advice and the information that we have with regards to glazing and what impact that's going to have on your project, not only from a design perspective, but from a kind of cost, budget, engineering, all of these different aspects, so that we can be as impactful as possible, and not, from that point of view, be as helpful as possible, really, to get exactly what you want for the project, or probably more appropriately, exactly what you can afford for the project. Because lots of the frustrations that we have are that people don't want to tell us their budget, but then also don't have a really realistic budget based on what they want. And if you don't know all the ins and outs of that, you can't really give the correct advice. And so you could probably steer a project in a certain direction to give them as close to what they want as possible, if that conversation was free flowing and kind of back and forward. And like Mark said, based on the reputation that the industry has, that's not always what happens. But we're trying to, get people to lower their guard and say, well, that's not what you're going to get from Glass Worx. So, let's put that to one side. We'll try and give you all the help and advice that we can in order to get you exactly where you need to be. And if it works for you, great. If not, just tell us that, and because that is like, if
we'll take you off the list.
Exactly. But that is, at the same time, that there's an element of, when you come from a kind of design background, you do like feasibility studies, but you don't win all the projects, and you just have to. You just say, right, well, we gave it our best shot, but we didn't win that one. And it's not just hound them until they send you money, which is the kind of traditional reputation of the glazing industry. But we're just trying to do it a wee bit different. We know we're not going to win every project, but if, we input a wee bit of advice, and you're able to take that and use it, great. If you want to take that, use it, and incorporate the products that we sell, even better. But we're just trying to come at it from a slightly different approach.
Yeah.